I'm Diku Mandavia. I'm the Chief Medical Officer for DeepSight. I'm really excited to be here at LSI at London here to describe the journey that we're on. And we're transforming not only medical imaging, particularly in ultrasound, but guidance of instruments in the body. How are we doing that? We're doing that with a breakthrough microscopic sensor, something that has never been seen in medicine before. A little bit about my background. I've been in clinical practice for over 30 years in Los Angeles, still maintain clinical practice. I was an early pioneer in point-of-care ultrasound in the early 90s in Los Angeles during the gang epidemic. That's when I recognized ultrasound had a big role for emergency care and trauma care. Through that period of time, both at Cedars-Sinai and at Los Angeles County Hospital, I ultimately joined industry. And I've been in industry now over 20 years. I joined Sonosite, which is a company that was born out of to build the world's first ultrasound for the battlefield. I joined them, and subsequently, I continued their market development efforts to now what we have developed is a multi-billion-dollar market in what we call point-of-care ultrasound. From that, I went on to Fujifilm. That was part of a buyout for $1 billion. And I've been now with DeepSight since January. One of the things I've got a front row seat to over my clinical experience is the tremendous benefits that we all have as patients today. 30 years ago, if you needed a valve replacement, you likely were going to have a sternotomy, an open heart surgery. Today, many of these procedures are done transcatheter. We're seeing that same trend in not only interventional cardiology, but in interventional radiology, also in, of course, ablation. We're seeing a lot of work in neuromodulation and MSK. And all of these areas share a common introduction into the body, and that's a needle. Some 200 needles are being placed into the body annually. But there's a problem. We use ultrasound on a regular basis. Ultrasound as a technology, which I'm a big fan of, is arguably the world's largest imaging modality, still hasn't adapted for instrument guidance. And so there's lots of problems around visibility, especially in the angle that you go in to see the target. The current solutions that are there today are not reliable. Physicians don't like them. And therefore, a lot of clinicians have severe challenges. So remember, they're trying to navigate critical structures. They're trying to avoid, say, arteries or veins. They need precision. Hand-eye coordination is critical, and you need a lot of experience. Unfortunately, there's a nationwide and a global shortage of these same clinicians. Part of the challenge, as I describe it, is a non-evolution of the needle. The needle that you see on here on the left-hand side is from 200 years ago, from the Civil War. And that's something looking very similar to a hospital close by to us. So we have a vision at DeepSight, taking that conventional instrument, that conventional needle, and making it a smart instrument. And when we do that, a lot of different things can happen. And that gets us to needle view technology. Needle view technology, our base technology, is a microscopic sensor. As you can see in the top right, it's 50 microns only. It's at the tip of a needle or the tip of a catheter or a guide wire. It can be any instrument. It can be seen in and out of plane, at any angle, at any depth. It lights up like a flashlight. It is so simple to see. It's non-electrical, self-calibrates, freehand workflow, which is really important because doctors don't want to change their workflow. It works inside an ablation cloud, so we're really relevant for ablation. We're impervious to heat and cold. And we give you more than just the localization. We're going to give you also pressure and temperature. So it's a multimodal sensor. So the first thing we do is really give you sub-millimeter localization. That green dot you see there in the middle of the liver, it's there. That is what I call face validity. We have now shown our technology to hundreds of physicians around the world. They see this and their jaw drops and they say they want it. Then we go to the next mode. This is on-point imaging. From this same tip, from this same sensor, we're now going to give you a cockpit view from the tip of the needle. Again, an industry first is going to unlock a lot of different interesting applications such as structural heart and a lot of the other ones as well. And we built a fully integrated system. We didn't want to be tied down to an archaic system. We knew we needed to build this from the ground up. It has an advanced ultrasound system, the right transducers. It has the right smart instruments, right? So we've taken those conventional instruments, made them smart with the sensors, and we have software and AI to help guide those physicians as well. We envision a future that the physicians will have equivalent of a Google Maps as they're doing these procedures, as we have a nationwide shortage and global shortage of these clinicians. And all of this is really creating a new standard of care for procedural medicine, for this big train, this big tsunami that we're seeing to go to transcatheter therapeutics. And under the hood is where the magic really lies. So our sensor, which is proprietary, and by the way, we have over 120 patents on this sensor. We have 3 times the wide receiving angle. We have a great signal-to-noise ratio, which is 100x, which will get us a lot more deeper into the body. Extremely high resolution, so 3 times the bandwidth. And as I mentioned before, it's microscopic. So it can fit anywhere in the body, and it's inert. And it can unlock parts of the body that we have never been able to access before with ultrasound. So when you look at the potential applications, there's a lot, because most of everything in medicine today involves an entry with a needle, a guide wire, and a catheter. And so we have a stepwise approach to these applications. We're going to start in the top left, which is abdominal biopsies. That's something we can do ourselves internally, stay close to the customers. We can do those instruments. But for each of these categories, we're working closely with OEMs that own those instruments. And we already have our first OEMs signed up. And we're already going to be going to production very shortly. But if you think about the categories that can benefit from a microscopic sensor with, again, not only vision with ultrasound, but also pressure and temperature, certainly ablation, a lot of work going on in that world, targeted drug delivery, sub-millimeter accuracy, vascular access, complex peripheral conditions, peripheral arterial disease, just like what we see with shockwave and galvanize. All these companies need vision, and that's what we provide. All the bread and butter drainages in the body, thoracentesis, paracentesis, et cetera. We work with contrast. We're here in Europe. There's a lot of contrast used for ultrasound. Neurosurgical applications are definitely unlocked. Brain used to be off barriers for ultrasound. We've already proven in animal lab we can see our sensor in the brain. OB/GYN, neonatal, structural heart, it's its own category. We've now had multiple conversations. We know there's a lot of stuff that we can do on the valve side. We believe that we may be able to replace or reduce the use of ICE and or TE with this vision that we can give at the tip of the needle. Neuromodulation, again, precision of lead placements is really important. Spine, of course, a lot of work happening in spine, whether it's pain management, CSF access. Intraoperative, of course. Ultrasound is really important on the robotic side in the journey towards semi-autonomous to autonomous, and we're very well suited for that as well. So we're poised to scale. We have a single platform, but multiple pathways. So we have a standalone solution that we're going to be selling. We have an integrated solution for those companies that build those breakthrough devices but don't have their own imaging. Why do they want us? Because they want the imaging data. That is because they're collecting AI data sets. It's important for those companies to have their own data sets, and so we're working with those companies to provide that. And lastly, for the existing imaging companies that are out there, we have a bolt-on solution if they'd like to have needle view. We have very healthy revenue model. Obviously, we start with system sales, OEM consumables. This layer is even higher as we bring in more OEMs into the mix. Our team is strong. Our team has been through exits. They have done a lot of work in hardware, software, sensors, ultrasound, clinical, regulatory. We have taken the best of the best to build a breakthrough device. So in summary, DeepSight is a disruptor. We are disrupting imaging. We're based out of California. We have about 55 employees. We have above 100 patents, as I mentioned. We're sufficiently de-risked. So if you're an investor, we already had our first 510K clearance. We have our first OEM partner, and we've gone into production with that first OEM partner. And that single platform that we built now can go laterally for the next OEMs, et cetera. So in summary, if you are a strategic, if you have imaging, if you have an instrument in the body, and you would like to have DeepSight technology embedded, come talk to us. We have our whole team here. If you are an investor, we are raising our Series C $60 million. This is an incredible opportunity. We believe we're the next NVIDIA for healthcare. We're going to change things, how things are seen inside the body with a breakthrough sensor. And if you would like to join our journey, come talk to us. We're here all week. Thank you very much.